Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sulk stream. I am your host, the Incredible Sulk, and I hope you guys are doing good. Buried in a tomb somewhere, surrounded by gold and slaves, with internet, with Wi-Fi, at the very least. Tonight we're doing Egyptian stuff because Social Observer last night was so kind to donate to today's Free for All Fridays, right? If you guys donate enough, I'll play whatever you want, honestly. But maybe for Fridays, that's what we're gonna do. Tonight we're doing Thoth and the Emerald Tablets, and it's a fun one. It's an interesting one, and it goes pretty deep. And luckily, the Y-Files has a wonderful episode on it. And if you, I have to pitch this. If you guys don't follow the Y-Files, what are you doing with your life? Because they have such good content. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys are doing good. Doing fine, okay, wrapped up. You get it? Because we're doing Egyptian stuff and mummies. So that's the hot fire I'm going to be dropping tonight. Can we all agree that's the hot fire? And that's the hot fire. So buckle up. Anyways, guys, I guess we'll go ahead and dive on into it, and make no more delays. And we're gonna have a fun Friday. Right? It's going to be chill. It's going to be relaxed. Did you like my thumbnail? Ardenshire made me a thumbnail. I think it's really good. Also going to be putting out a shirt design by, despite what you've heard, that is who is in the chat right now. And so there's a lot of irons in the fire. The Sulk stream's coming up. Also, I'm part of the Rumble Creator Program. Don't know what that is. Don't know what that does. But I'm in. They sent me an email that said congratulations, and I'm like, sweet. So I will do something with that. Anyways, guys, let's start that over. Anyways, guys, get comfy, get cozy, bring up a sarcophagus, write down in hieroglyphics. Arden, if you're taking notes tonight, I insist that they are in picture form, hieroglyphics only, and don't give me the excuse that you didn't study hieroglyphics, all right? Because that's not an excuse. You could just draw pictures vaguely resembling the things I'm talking about, and then please send it to me, because that's another shirt. See, we're racking them out. It's just like that. It's the spinning wheel, the flywheel effect. Just keeps getting more and more, and then I'm just too busy. Anyways, get something comfy to wear. Get somebody you like. Hang out. Get under a nice blankie. Sit next to the fire. Grab a bottle of, what do Egyptians drink? Beer? I assume it would be beer. Yeah, I think it's beer. Because they drank beer forever, dude. Drinking beer was like the thing since the beginning. Super easy to make. I mean, really, all you have to do is have some grains, and then it rains one day, and then you don't pour out the grain pot, and then eventually you have beer. Some weird kid probably drank it first on a dare, and then when he drank it, he was like, yo, I'm fucked up, let's party, and then everyone else just started to get down. And then the population exploded, right? Because nobody was ugly then, right? Nobody was dirty and sunburnt and living in the woods then. Anyways, if you're working, keep working towards the glory of the Sulk. That is the only job that means anything to you. If you're driving, please continue driving to the glory of the Sulk. Anyways, yeah. Let's get going. It's a Friday. It's a Friday show. And I hope you guys have awesome weekend plans. Anyways, I'm the Incredible Sulk. This is the Sulk stream. And this is called Atlantis Thoth, however you pronounce it, the Emerald Tablets, and the secret to immortality. There's a lot to cover tonight. Enjoy.
Which would you prefer, eternal life or unlimited wealth? How about both? For that, you
Neither.
need the Philosopher's Stone.
Neither.
A substance that can turn base metals into gold and grant you eternal life.
Sweet.
The Book of Aquarius contains the instructions for the Philosopher's Stone.
Turd
Now,
Flinging
although the
Monkey,
process-
Ardenshire, background noise, despite what you've heard. What's up, boys? Also, do you guys know what the Philosopher's Stone is made out of? I've seen this, I know already, but if you don't, it is made exclusively out of human pee. Your own pee. Your own pee. I mean, if you can make it out of someone else's pee, but I mean, you have your own pee, and eventually you have to swallow it. Yeah. You have to swallow it. You have to dry it out until it becomes like this, and then you have to swallow it, and then you got to pee that out, and then you got to dry it, and then you got to swallow that too. And it's a very finicky process. But if you get it right, you've swallowed your pee like 700 times at that point. It takes a very long time, and it's very hard to do.
This can take years. The ingredients are simple. You have them in your home right now. But the
I have lots of pee in my home. I have like jars and jars of pee. People keep saying like, John, you're sick. Please let us help you. And I'm like, no, sir, I'm trying to live forever. I'm sipping on a jar of pee. And, right? That's what I drink. It's, it ain't shine if you're paying taxes. It's not alcoholic in any way. It's just pee. I like the taste. It's zingy.
Aquarius is derived from many older texts, including one very mysterious artifact, the Emerald Tablet, which contains not only the recipe for immortality.
Despite what you've heard, says I've seen every Y-Files. So have I. But they're so good. I don't usually do the Y-Files on this show, but they're so good that I'm like, and this is just a very specific topic that they cover very well. And so I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Why mess with success? But if you don't watch the Y-Files, if you have not seen the Y-Files, please go and watch this on your own, and then the rest of them. Honestly, they're really good. I didn't like the fish at first, but now I like the fish. And Jess has a sweater with the fish on it. Lizard people.
But the secret to everything in the universe. This
If I get third-party striked after doing these plugs, I'm going to be mad.
knowledge has been around for centuries.
But it might happen.
Has been
Who knows?
suppressed until now. Medieval alchemists
know
received this
Sanskrit?
knowledge from the Arabs 1,000
Useless.
years ago. The Arabs got it from the Egyptians 2,000 years before that. But the Egyptians received this knowledge 36,000 years ago.
Ardenshire says prepare for lots of dick hieroglyphics. What else is there? What else can you draw? It's just going to be dicks and Stussies. You remember Stussies with the lines, the 3 lines and 3 lines, and then you do the thing. It's just going to be dicks and then those Stussies. And you might have to work out some sort of binary system, because can anybody draw anything else? Everything you learned to draw was from middle school.
From the most advanced culture on Earth. The Emerald Tablet comes from Atlantis.
Atlantis,
For
which was actually in the Pacific. Weirdly enough.
hundreds of years,
That's not
the
true.
recipe for the Philosopher's
I don't know.
Stone was the
It
most
could have been, I
sought-after
don't know.
secret of alchemy. According to legend, this substance could turn ordinary metals like lead and iron into gold.
That's P. Is that supposed to be P? And then they're turning lead into gold. So, which would just destroy the market. So, they didn't think that through. But luckily, they didn't figure it out. Or did they? Have they gone into Fort Knox yet? They haven't done that yet. They released the Epstein client list or whatever, and it was just a bunch of black bars. And nobody was happy. Not a single person was happy about that. There was like people like dancing. We have the Epstein files. And then they open it up, and it's just, wow. There's nothing in here. There's absolutely nothing in here. And then they close it, and then what? We're supposed to celebrate? Why would you do that? Why would you? Because you know that's going to piss people off. And it's not to like protect the innocent and the victims and stuff. There's no effing way. Why would you do that? Just give a list. Just give a list of names. You don't have to have a bunch of files and shit. Just give a list of names. We'll believe you. Most of us already kind of know who's on there, right? Kevin Spacey, Tom Hanks, Morgan Freeman. Yeah, he was nasty.
Philosopher's Stone was also called
the robot scientist. What was his name? The black hole guy.
Elixir of life because it could restore.
He's in hell right now. He was in hell on Earth, like when he was like rolling around speaking his robot tones. But now he's in like super hell, where I don't know. Can he move less or can he move more? I don't even know.
For youth and even grant immortality. For centuries, alchemists attempted to create the stone, breaking down, distilling, and combining different materials in pursuit of this goal. This actually led to the creation of chemistry. Now, this might sound like hocus pocus, but some of the most brilliant minds in history believed in the Philosopher's Stone and dedicated a large portion of
background noise says, "Someone please sulk the life out of me." I'm here for you.
their lives.
I'm here for you.
Some became so infatuated that it drove them to the brink of insanity.
Ardenshire says Trump is on page 25 and Bill Clinton page 103. Interesting. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that both of them would be on the list, and it just because Epstein, I mean, that was his thing. It was blackmailing people. He made sure to blackmail as many people as possible. So there's probably all types of people on that list. All types of people on that list. And even if we got the definitive list of every single person that was on that island and that did some nasty shit, what are we supposed to do about that? What are we supposed to do about that? You know, Nancy Pelosi is clearly doing insider training and nobody's doing shit. There's very clear crimes that are happening all over the place that no one is doing anything about. So we get a list of a bunch of people that are already in power, that have the most money, that like money is not even a thing for them because they just have so much as like water. So if we got that list, what could we possibly do with it? What, a riot? We can do that now, right? We can string these people up in the town square now, all right? We don't need a list. Most of us don't even need a list to know these people are guilty. So what's it matter? They're going to just release a big block of paper, right? That's been all Sharpied out. And then we're supposed to be satisfied with that. We're supposed to be cool with that. And everyone's excited and dancing. Why the fuck are you dancing? What did you achieve? What did you win? Did anybody go to jail? Did a single person go to jail besides Ghislaine? I don't even know how to pronounce her name. But she's not going to do any. I mean, she's in jail right now, right? Maybe she'll be the sacrifice. Epstein is still alive, by the way. I hope everybody knows that.
Newton is remembered for his contributions to mathematics, astronomy, and physics, but he was also interested in alchemy. Newton spent the last 30 years of his life obsessed with the Philosopher's Stone. He even made his...
He was just peeing in jars and drinking it. And, you know, it's weird. Howard Hughes was doing that. You know, the Aviator? HughesNet turned into DirecTV. They made a movie about him, Leonardo DiCaprio, who is also on that list. I guarantee you he's on that list. But yeah, maybe he was just trying to make the Philosopher's Stone. Everyone thinks you're weird when you have a bunch of pee on hand. They don't think you're trying to do something amazing, right? All you get is judgment.
His own translations of the Emerald Tablet, which are still studied today. Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II brought the best alchemists in Europe to court. Men like John Dee and Edward Kelly were given a private lab and an unlimited budget. At the beginning of the Renaissance, there was an alchemist.
They just kept making meth over and over again. They just kept making meth, and they're all like, "This is it. We've made the Philosopher's Stone," and it makes you zoom, man. It makes you zoom, and so that's why there would just be a bunch of kings without teeth. Man, too bad that's not the real history. That's not the real timeline where we discovered meth in like the 1300s, and then society hit singularity by the 1400s, and we'd all be living on the moon, doing meth.
Alchemist who, as the legend
Moon
goes,
rocks.
actually discovered the Philosopher's Stone, and his name was Nicholas Flamel. Now
He gave it to Dumbledore.
What?
Well, he actually puts it in Gringotts Vault, and then Hagrid fetched it for him.
Now, I don't think that's...
But Voldemort wants it, because he's stuck in the back of Quirrell's head, right? Then Hermione gets him past the Devil's Snare, and then Ron plays Wizard's Chess. By the way, he used the Nimzowitsch defense as an opening gambit. You don't see that much with Wizard's Chess.
Now, if you believe in the legend or Harry Potter, Nicholas Flamel didn't die in 1418. He succeeded in creating the Philosopher's Stone, and he and his wife Perenelle are still alive and out there somewhere.
Whoa, 600 years is a long time to be married.
They would be getting Social Security checks, right? That's why when that list came out and people were like, why is there so many 150-year-old people getting security checks and like 300-year-old people? Maybe they are real and they figured out the key to immortality, and we're just not supposed to know about it. But they have billions of dollars and they just play real low key. That's definitely a possibility. That's definitely a possibility. Should we take their Social Security checks? Yeah, they're already probably super rich. I mean, if you're around for 600 years and you're not super wealthy, what's the point? Why would you do that? Just end it, man. What are you going to live in a box for 6 centuries and be like, today's my day. I'm going to turn it around. He looks himself in a shitty, scratched up mirror. And he's all like, you can do this, Nick. You can do this. You can't do it, man. You just can't. Right? You can't. You just, by luck, you should have been rich by now. But you just keep fucking it up, don't you? You just keep fucking it up. You shouldn't have eaten all that pee, because then you would be dead and probably a lot happier.
I guess it is.
A long time.
Mm-hmm.
So very long.
Hecklefish has like 5 divorces. That's his backstory.
A long time.
Ever since man realized that his life was finite, the human race has been fascinated.
Despite says, initially I fucking hated Hecklefish, but he kind of grew on me. I understand his necessity. I felt the same way. When I first started watching this, I was like, I don't like that fish. I think he's caustic and he's annoying and his jokes are bad. But then I watched more and I'm like, okay, I like this fish. This fish gets it. This fish is based as fuck too. The both of them are, but they're like real low key about it. They're real low key about it because they have to be on YouTube and stuff. So, you know, but he says stuff every once in a while. I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit. Calling out the IMF like that, huh?
With the idea of extending their
cool.
lifespan or even achieving immortality.
Ape monkey.
The legend of the Fountain of Youth has been around for hundreds of years. And now we have cryonics, which is freezing a body
Hecklefish-based
at the
tuna.
moment of death in the hope of reviving them at some point in the
Hecklefish-based
future.
tuna.
Or mind
What?
uploading, which will transfer a person's consciousness to a computer and then at some point transfer that consciousness back into a human or part human, part robot body.
Does that do anything though? If I were to copy my consciousness, like all of it onto a computer and then I died. Don't do that. Don't what? Do the first part or the second part? I can die all I want. Just don't download myself into a computer and then just what? Hang out in the porn website. All right? What's John's avatar doing? Oh, he's just like he's
Masturbating again.
he's digitally masturbating. Would they give me a penis?
If you want one, honey.
I'm just saying, like, if I had to, would they do a full body scan, or would they take like my dick pics and like upload them and then kind of rearrange it Like that's how they would get the shape and the dimensions, and then the hair, the girth. It's girthy. Right? Right? High five. Yeah. Girthy bitch.
But it all started with the Emerald Tablet. Written by the Egyptian god
Yeah.
Djibouti, more commonly known as Thoth. Thoth was one of the most important.
You'd drink my pee, wouldn't you?
You always ask this.
I've asked her like a million times if she would drink my pee. And she'd be like, if I was like drunk and it was like I haven't gotten her to do it yet. But one of these
Can't be
days.
drunk anymore.
No, we don't. We never get drunk because we're like,
Responsible.
what?
Shut up.
Responsible? You won't even drink my pee. That's not responsible. That's not responsible at all. When you drink my pee, then we can talk. When I have my digitally uploaded girthy penis in the digital realm. Because I ain't going in without it.
Important gods of ancient Egypt.
I'm not
He was
going in
worshipped
without it.
Before the age of the pharaohs, so before 5000 BC. Thoth was the god of magic, wisdom, and the
Arden
moon.
Share says digital dong. You can make it as big as you want, but it's a subscription service. Oh my God. That's evil, right? What if you were just like packing heat in IRL and then you got like uploaded into like Apple reality, right? And then it's all right. It's okay. The free version's okay. But like to have your dick back, you have to pay like $9 a month or something like that. And be like, how do I do that? How do I do that? And then there's like a dick slider, like on a character creator, and you can really girth it out. Really girth it out. Who are you going to impress with that though? Would it just make it impossible to walk? But you're in digital form, so you can fly places. So all people would see, you'd fly over a city and then it'd just be a huge shadow passing over them, right? Just a huge dick shadow passing right over them. It'll be good times, you guys. It'll be good times. But is that you? That's not you. That's just some huge dicked avatar.
Usually depicted as a man with the head of an ibis.
IBS?
Ibis.
What I say?
Thoth created writing and hieroglyphics. He wrote the Egyptian Book of the Dead. The Egyptians claimed he invented science, religion, philosophy, and of course...
By the way, that was a white guy. That was a white guy. Did you see him? He was a white guy. So, I'm not saying, all these black people will be like, my ancestors... My African ancestors were pharaohs, and they put like the headdresses on and stuff like that. But then you look at all the Egyptian art, and the black people are usually like cleaning penises and stuff, or doing some sort of farm work. But they're not that common in general. Yeah, I don't think you built the pyramids. But they really want to hold on to that. And just because it's in a similar continent,
Dude, one time I had a black guy on Twitter be like, we were building pyramids while you were in caves. And I was like, well, then what happened?
Why are you in caves now then?
How did we... I was like, how did we enslave you if we were in caves? And
They hadn't even invented the wheel. They had not even invented the wheel when Europeans found them. And yes, ancient Egyptians were white people. I'm sorry, that's just, maybe not like crystal clear blue-eyed, but probably looked quite a bit like me. But that doesn't mean they necessarily look like me. There could have been a lot of blue-eyed ones. I'm just saying they weren't sub-Saharans. Okay? They weren't sub-Saharans. There's no fucking way, right? You think it wouldn't be too hard to stack blocks, especially if you were in the same place for literally thousands of years. But you built nothing? You built nothing. There's nothing. And then they're like, oh, the Egyptian museum or the British museum stole our artifacts. I'm like, okay, show me the artifacts. And it's just it's a clay figurine of a woman with large breasts. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. Fair enough, dude. You can have that back if you want. I mean, my son makes better stuff. He's 4. We put it on the shelf, and sometimes we just throw it away. But if you want that for you, by all means. By all means. But I don't run the British Museum. If I did, they would have a lot more stuff. I'm just saying, they would have a lot more stuff. I know the British like taking stuff, but it would just be a lot more stuff. What do you want? It would be a lot more stuff.
Course, alchemy. Greeks call him the inventor of astronomy, mathematics.
But Monkey said, damn caucasoids. You said caucasoids. I imagine you said caucasoids, right? I know this isn't... They don't use this classification system anymore, but it was scientific back in the day, and it still makes sense. There's three groups of people, generally. There's also sub-races and stuff, but there's 3 groups of people. There's Caucasoids, which are Europeans and such like that, Mediterraneans, Middle Easterns actually fall into that group. There's the Mongoloids, which encompass the Asians, and also the New Worlders, like the Hispanics and stuff like that. They descended from the Mongoloids because they came over the Bering Strait or rode here or whatever. And then there's the Negroids, and that is the proper term for them. And they are the sub-Saharans, and they didn't really spread too much. They kind of stayed very much in a localized area. You can't say that anymore. You get banned on Twitter for saying those things. I probably already got banned for saying those things. Right here, right now. I don't care. It makes sense to me. And, yeah, so there's 3 subgroups. But it breaks apart even further.
Civilized government
sure.
and the alphabet.
Kind of an overachiever, this Egyptian, eh?
Well, that's what's interesting. Thoth wasn't actually a god. He wasn't even Egyptian. He arrived in Egypt many thousands of years ago, and he brought with him knowledge and wisdom from his own country.
Which is?
Thoth is from Atlantis.
Yahtzee!
Awesome. Arden Shire says, yeah, Persians and Phoenicians weren't black. No, they were not. They were also matter chemists. No block stacking needed. They made geopolymers, chemically made granite, which is pretty interesting. Like a type of cement type of... Because they were making like concrete, like cement and concrete for a long time. They figured out how to make concrete. I mean, the Romans had the technology to make underwater concrete. They got good at it pretty quick. So maybe that was kind of... But the Egyptians... They say it was like some 8,000 years ago or something like that where they built the pyramids and stuff. But it might have been way earlier than that. But they don't want to say that because they'll lose funding. They'll lose funding, and Egyptology is a tightly controlled field, which is, you wouldn't expect that, but it is. It's a tightly controlled field, and you need all kinds of permits and all kinds of very specific education, but not only education, very specific ideas about Egyptology just to be considered to go into the field. So they don't allow actual science, actual discovery in Egyptology. It is a set narrative that you can study and repeat, but you really can't add too much. That goes against the status quo.
Plato described Atlantis as being divided into 10 kingdoms, each with its own government, its own rulers, and its own purpose.
Despite what you've heard, says, my wife has like less than 2% sub-Saharan, so I'm allowed to say it. Well, then say it. Say it. We're all listening. Here we are. Go ahead and say it. Your wife, your Brazilian wife, with less than 2%, like, dude, 2%, she's not milk, okay? It's like, when you get down to 2%, it's like, okay, fine. She can say it. She can put her hair in like cornrows and like drop N-bombs and smoke crack and stuff like that. And we're all supposed to look the other way and be like, her culture is beautiful and stuff like that. But I doubt she acts like that. I doubt she acts like that. I've seen your wife. She looks white. She looks like a white person. And she is. She is a white person. You know, just because somebody has 2% black or something like that doesn't, but who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I don't even know what I am. I refuse to get that genetic testing because I don't know what people are going to do with it. And when you get that, it immediately gets sold. China has been collecting genetic information on Americans for a long time now. And they have all types of information from like Ancestry.com and like 23andMe. And who knows what they're doing with it, but they are buying it up en masse. So they have a lot of it. And they do have those virus laboratories that have never done anything ever. Have never done anything nefarious or gain of function what? Not those innocent people. Not those innocent labs funded by Dr. Fauci. Yeah. Yeah. Weird, huh? That's a very weird coincidence. I hate coincidences.
One of these kingdoms was the island of Undal, which was the Atlantean center of philosophy and science. Thoth was born 36,000 years ago on Undal.
Was that right here? Right here going up, right here. Is this a water slide? Is this like the sickest water slide? Because I would go down that water slide.
In the city of Keora. Keora was a community of scholars.
It's also a dumb website.
Scholars, scientists, and priests. Thoth was trained by his father, Thoth, who was a very important figure in Atlantis. Thoth was one of the children of light, who were an advanced race that lived alongside humans.
Yeah, I'm one of those. Do you guys know what indigo children are? Indigo children are... So people think indigo children are some sort of like star child type of like different essences sent here from, I don't know, the Andromeda galaxy or something like that to change the world for some sort of reckoning, for some sort of arrival or something like that. But these children that they consider to be indigo children are just like, they have ADD and they're autistic. So they might just be autistic kids or ADD kids, which is like not a problem in itself. I'm not saying it's a problem at all. But your kid might not be from the stars, and that's why he acts weird. You know, he might not be, he's not an ascended master or anything like that. He's just autistic. He likes, like, you know, Legos a lot, but that doesn't mean he's otherworldly somehow. He lacks the skills of picking up on social cues. I do too. I'm very bad at it. Or do I just not care? But yeah, maybe I'm an indigo child and I'm from another star system, or I just got poisoned as a baby. Yeah, that's probably it.
The children of light provided the human race with science, language, and eventually technology.
Thoth says, I thought indigo children were kids with methemoglobinemia. You really had to hit me with all those syllables. Did you really have to hit me with all those fucking syllables? Why? What's the point? You know, I fumble shit like that. You do that on purpose? You just fucking with me, Thoth? I don't appreciate that. Just say blue kids. Say blue kids. Methemoglobinemia. Yeah, I got it that time. Or they could like colloidal silver. Like that blue guy. Which you say has that, but I think he's just He's just got the silver in his skin.
Some have said these beings were extraterrestrials, or the Anunnaki, or both. Though the children of light weren't gods, they would appear godlike to any normal human. But these are mortal beings. They're born and they die, just like we do.
Whoa.
Despite what you've heard says, I just said it. I say it to her all the time. Based. Honestly. Hey, get in here, you... can I say it? Or is everyone going to get real mad at me? Get in here, you filthy N-word. You dumb N-word bitch. I want to strangle you. You want it? Come on. And you just start whipping her. And then see if she finds it funny. And starts seeing spirituals and stuff like that. Man, if Jess was even a drop of black, I would probably be doing the same thing. But, like, taking it way too far.
But if he could die, I was in Atlantis 36,000 years ago, and in Egypt 5,000 years ago.
Oh, Critical Thought says Blue Kids. Thank you, Thought. Thank you. Because some of us are disabled, okay? Some of us are mildly indigo. That's what I'm going to call myself. I'm indigo. I'm not disabled. I'm not, like, messed up in the head. I'm indigo, which makes me fun and quirky, and I like crystals, and I put them strange places. I have a few on me now, but where?
I'm getting to it.
Sorry, go ahead. I like this story.
I thought you would. Anyway, Thoth's father, Thotme, was the keeper of the Great Temple, which means he was a high priest who carried messages to the human race from the Children of Light.
Wise were we with the wisdom of the children of the light who dwell among us.
Despite it says, call your wife an N lover, that one always makes me laugh. What? Why would I do that? I call her a fag sometimes. I'm like, yeah, you like that fag? Jesus. Yeah. But that's just between her and me. But I forget that. And I like shout it at her when we're at like the farmer's market, like, and I make her carry all the bags and stuff. And then she's got 2 kids that she has to carry and stuff. And I walk 10 feet in front of her. That's just how I do it.
Strong were we with the power drawn from the eternal fire. And of all these,
I'm not gonna
greatest
walk side
among
by
the
side.
children of men was my father, Thotme, keeper of the great temple, link between the children of light who dwelt within the temple and the races of men who inhabited the 10 islands.
A lot of AI. They're using a lot of AI these days. And I don't have a problem with it. They do good AI, and it's a full production and stuff like that. They put one of these out a week. So you would expect it to have some sort of production value. Not like this show. But hey, we're coming up. We have that thumbnail. We have some shirts. We have other things. Little by little, this show is starting to come together. It's not a professional operation now, not by a long shot. But maybe when we get a little bit more funding, things will happen. Things will happen.
The 10 kingdoms of Atlantis were created by an entity named Horlet. Sometimes
Couch Triffing says, "Hey you, stupid slut." I shout across the farmer's market, and then like 30 women turn around. Right? It's just the area we live in, right? I'm like, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm talking to my stupid slut, not the rest of you old boomer women, old New York boomer women.
It's called the Dweller. And Thoth spent many years with the Dweller learning the art of wisdom. Thoth excelled in his studies and was finally invited to the hall.
Thought says, I think anyone going around saying they're special anointed indigos are just narcissists. But, it's not the children themselves necessarily calling themselves indigo kids or stuff like that. It's their, crystal-loving, super hippie parents that don't understand why their kid is like this. And they can't really blame themselves because they were told doing this thing would make their kid healthy, and it turned them into a fucking weirdo. So they're like, oh, our kid must be an alien or something. And it kind of fits because people like that don't meld properly in social settings, and they feel very alien on the inside. And so when their parents are being like, you must be from, the Andromeda Galaxy or Alpha Centauri or something like that, they're all like, well, I must be, since I'm not like anybody else I know, especially my parents who are weird. So, yeah. And then it takes them down a weird path. But on the other hand, who knows, man? I think I know stuff. But then I get like a year or two older and I'm like, man, I didn't know shit. And I keep doing that. I keep fucking doing that. I think I have a good handle on things. And then something happens. I'm like, nope, that's okay. I'm going to throw that shit out the window. And then after a while, you're just tired, so you stop trying to understand things. And then you're like, okay, sure, whatever, aliens at the mall and, people are from Indigo 12 and, reptilians live in the center of the earth. It could all be real. It could all be real. It could all be real. Right? There's little teenage, edgy atheists who think they have the world figured out, right? They're like 16 and they're like, there is no God. It's a silly superstition and stuff like that. And they grow up and they change their minds. We continue to do that our entire lives. And we should. That's what we should do. You don't realize how fucking stupid you are. Every day. It's not just when you're like 16, although you are remarkably stupid at 16. It's not just at 25, even though you are remarkably stupid at 25. It is every single day of your life until the day you die. The very end, when you press that button when you're in the suicide tube, right? Because you've had too much. You've had too much. Just every reality that you built in your head has been shattered day by day by day. And you're like, fuck it, I'm a moron. If I'm going to be a moron, I'm just going to check out. That's how you know you're actually learning something. When you know you don't know shit. You don't know anything. Dude, every single day, something comes across my awareness where I'm like, well, that idea has vanished. I had a preconceived conception, right? I had it all packaged and like neatly tied up and there's a bow on it. And I was like, finally, a concrete idea. No one can mess with this until somebody comes and fucking shits all over it. Just shits all over it. Right? And then I'm like, okay. All right. And you just get frustrated. But it's good. That means you're learning stuff. Right? And you're never going to stop learning stuff. And you're never going to know enough. You're going to learn more and more. And slowly, your brain is just going to detach. You're going to, depersonalize. You're just going to lose contact with reality. And that's when you know you've hit it. You done it. You did it. You lost your mind. That's what happens to anybody who learns enough. Stupid people are gifted. They truly are gifted. They have been blessed to not have to think so much and not have to be proven wrong constantly, even though they are proven wrong constantly. But in their minds, it isn't so. It just isn't so. They have their ideas, right? They aren't all fleshed out, but they don't need them to be. They think exactly what they need to think to get them through life, and it's peaceful. It's just quiet and peaceful. And they go to the bar and they get drunk. Not because they're trying to drown out some sort of anxiety about the future or depression from the past or like some gnawing realization that you just cannot get over. They just drink for fun. And they're not all neurotic and stuff. And they go out and get laid. And then there's more people. There's more of them. And they're retarded. And they're like, I had an indigo kid. Check that out. That's something else. And they go through the whole life. Their whole life. like that. It sounds so nice. It sounds so peaceful. But I just think about I'm the fucking idiot because I'm trying to like hammer out what reality is on a metaphysical level. But even before that, what's going on with politics? What's going on with science over here? Why does certain words mean certain things? Why do certain syllables evoke this kind of emotion? Why can we say this and why can we not say that? That's too much to think about. It's just too much to think about, and none of it is important. Not any of it. Sure, it might be important to you to have some sort of eureka moment. One day you have a realization and you're all like, oh my God, it makes so much sense, right? And then it connects. Everything is connected and you're blown away until the next day when you learn something new and it trashes it all. And then you just go insane. That's why geniuses go off into the woods and start like building bombs and stuff like that and writing manifestos because they can't handle it. If they were just to knock off a few IQ points, they'd be much happier. That you can't even tell me that would not be the case. They would just be much happier. I don't know anything, and because I do not know anything, it makes it very hard to judge people. But I love judging people. I love judging people so much, but I know that I don't know shit about them. I don't know shit about their situation or their mental capacity or their brain chemistry or anything, but I still judge them. I still judge them because it makes me feel good, right? But I know in my thinky brain that doesn't make any sense. I have no idea, and I have no reason to judge them. I do not come from a place to judge them, but I do it anyway. You know why? Because I'm a bad person. That's what I do. Because it's fun for me. It's fun for me to be like, oh, did you hear? Oh, I drink the tea. Jess comes home with tea. She's like, I just hang out with my girlfriend and you're going to hear this. And I'm like, bitch, hold on. Go ahead. That's not good for me. You know? But I do it anyway. What am I saying? Am I saying I'm jealous? A little bit. Am I saying I'm a genius? Well, apparently not. I'm doing this show, and I'm not hanging out in the woods in some like log cabin growing hair out of everywhere I can and just writing genius stuff. Ted Kaczynski was right on the money. That motherfucker was on the money. 100%. He saw everything coming. We honestly owe him an apology, right? Because he was the only one trying to like reel it in just a little bit, just a little bit. But even he knew that progress was unstoppable. So what he was doing was futile at best. But he had to do something. What was he going to do? Just sit in his cabin and not build bombs? Who would do that? Who would do that?
It's there where Thoth is given the key to life, immortality. And he, like the other children of light, can reincarnate every 100 years. Now, as
Critical Thought says, LMAO, where does moon cricket come from? Ask Virgie.
Mortal, Thoth is responsible for keeping the ancient knowledge that he's been taught. Then, a great flood destroys Atlantis.
Well, how long ago was that?
13,000 years ago.
Oh, and when was the Younger Dryas?
13,000 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Yet another flood myth takes place during a period of time known as the Younger Dryas. Every culture on Earth has the same flood myth. Anyway.
Despite what you've said, I ended up being in the hospital till Sunday. He just had back surgery, I think it was. Final verdict, not sure, possibly autoimmune disease. Both my large and small intestines were inflamed. I think I had gabapentin withdrawal. Gay joke. Insert gay joke here. You gotta pull the dicks out of your ass. That's why your intestines are so inflamed. There you go. Keep that going.
In order to preserve the
There you
knowledge
go.
and
That's what
culture
I
of
got.
Atlantis,
That's what I
Thoth
got.
is one of the teachers sent out to establish new colonies around the world. One of these colonies is in South America. Another is in Central America. Thoth travels to a land the
No back
Atlanteans
surgery
called
yet.
Chem.
He doesn't have back surgery yet. So somebody's just like pounding him in the ass relentlessly. And that's how it's all like goofed up in his bottom parts.
But we know it as Egypt. Thoth took with
You
him
have my sympathies, buddy. You have my sympathies. But you know what you got to do is you got to stop letting the homies hit it. You know?
a tablet carved out of green emerald, though some believe it might have been crystal. Others say the tablet was made of orichalcum, a valuable
Schedule
ancient...
a colonoscopy when you're discharged, says Thoth. Even if I was like gonna die, I'm not letting some dude put a camera up my ass. I'm not. No. No. See, I'm not saying the medical system is flawed in every way and they have no idea what to do at all ever. Even though that has kind of been the track record since like the 1400s, right? But if I get something, I'm just going to write it out. If I was designed to live a certain amount of time, I will live that amount of time. And I'm not going to like go into like get a quadruple bypass or have some dude stick like an old VHS camera from 1992 up my ass, right? It's like one of the big ones that go on your shoulder. No, thank you. I'll leave. I can tell when I'm no longer welcome in this plane of existence. All right. When I get the sense that I've overstayed my welcome, I will happily check out. I will take a bow and then I will fade into the blackness and then be eventually forgotten slowly, but I will be forgotten. And the only thing left about me will be these. So I'm putting my best foot forward right now for you guys, for my own posterity, right? Hi, kids. Saying hi to my boys. Maybe even my grandkids. Hey, grandkids. Grandpa was a maniac? Something. Whatever you call it in your Generation D, possibly. Yeah. Hey, I did nothing of note. You're watching this on your hover television, or nobody's there at all. Nobody is left on the planet, and it's just me playing on repeat, half buried in sand in some nuclear fallout type of scenario, and that's it. That's how we all go dark. Very cheery. I'm a very cheery, optimistic kind of guy.
Metal that, according to Plato, was mined in Atlantis.
That's just the case.
On this emerald tablet, Thoth wrote the secrets of the universe, including the key to immortality. This knowledge would become the foundation for ancient Egyptian alchemy. Now, for centuries, Thoth would reincarnate into different bodies, sharing his wisdom with a select few.
Arjun, if you got colon cancer, rub some ivermectin on it. Maybe stick a dandelion up there for... You'll be fine. You know what? Jess knows a lot of like herbal remedies, and she makes these tinctures and stuff like that. So if I get cancer, that's probably what caused it. That's probably what caused it. And she'll be like, hold on. No, I mixed it wrong. Here, try this. And then that's how I pass away or get super high.
Usually he was born in Egypt, but sometimes his mission would take him to other parts of the world. And that takes us to ancient Greece. With the Emerald Tablet.
This guy does great videos, yeah.
makes its first appearance.
Or are you talking about me? I'm going to assume you're talking about me. You're a liar.
The emerald
But hey, I'm part of the creator program, whatever that means, whatever that does. So look at me. Still, I have a rough idea of what it does. I don't know what it does.
tablet, also known as Tabulus Margidina in Latin, is only 24 stanzas of text. But hidden within those few stanzas is the secret to immortality. The tablet is said to have been written by Hermes Trismegistus, who some say is a combination of the Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian god Thoth, or is a reincarnation of Thoth himself. Hermes Trismegistus is the author of a group of texts called the Hermetica, and from these we get Hermeticism, a set of spiritual concepts and practices.
I wanted to read the something Hermetica, right? It's a book. You can read it. You can like buy it. You could read it. I have not read it, but I want to. I don't even know if I would understand it, right? Like even if it had been updated for modern language, I just still don't think I would get the concepts behind it. You know, sometimes information from the past is just our brains are not equipped to understand what they're talking about. We don't have the ability, we don't have the social, there's a lot that goes into understanding something. Like think of a joke. Now think of a joke from 6,000 years ago. How could you possibly know the current zeitgeist surrounding that joke to where it would be a funny thing? Maybe if it was a fart joke, because those are timeless. But like if it was like political humor or it was like some sort of weird play on words, it would go completely over my head. I just don't have the basis. I don't have the cultural knowledge that you had to understand that joke. So I wish I did. I wish I knew enough. That way I could be like, oh man, they burned Ramsey III on that one. Wow. Whoa. Never will though. Never will. Not in my life.
Characterized by a belief in the unity of all things in the universe. Hermeticism has influenced secret societies like the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, and the Order of the Black Sun. The Hermetic Order of the Golden...
Is the Black Sun, is that the Nazi thing? Is that the one with the Nazi? I know I'm not supposed to say Nazi, so I'll say it like Nazi times. Nazi. Nazis.
Dawn is a secret society that emerged in the late 19th century. They used Hermetic principles in their ceremonies, which were said to be magic. The order also drew on other esoteric traditions, including Kabbalah and Tarot. The earliest known mention of the Emerald Tablet comes from an Arabic text dated 1,200 years ago. But this text claims to be a translation of a much older work, which is possibly...
Are you guys still talking about Despite's butthole? Is it still just all burnt out and stuff? Thought, please do not diagnose people in my chat. That's my job. I'm the cult leader, okay? And I will decide who gets to have health and who gets to have sickness. That's part of my job. That's my gig, okay? You're stepping on some toes. You're stepping on some toes here, Thought, right? If I say that despite what you've heard is perfectly 100% healthy, he's got a clean bill of health, then that is so. So don't be like, oh, you desperately need to see a doctor. You have ulcerative colitis or whatever it is, because he simply does not, for I say so.
A translation of an even older text. Upon discovery, the Emerald Tablet became one of the most studied documents.
Despite what you've heard, it says, I'm done now. I'm just a slow typer. I'm in the shower. Are you seriously listening to me in the shower with your phone and you're typing comments in my chat? Bravo, and I salute your dedication. Honestly, you took me into the shower with you, which sounds gay. It is gay. That's a little gay. I can see how that's a little gay. When I'm in the shower, the last thing I want to hear is another man's voice. That's just it. You know, I'm already like skittish. I have a gun in there, and like, I don't want to pull out the shower gun, right? It's an old Mossberg. You you don't want to be caught naked. You know, you don't want to be caught naked. And then, if I hear a man's voice, even if I knew I put it on, it would just evoke some anxiety in me, But thank you for taking me into the shower with you, despite what you've heard. My wife walks right in as I say that.
By Islamic.
She has no background. She hasn't been listening. No. She hasn't been listening at all. She walks in on that precise sentence. What do you think?
What do you have to tell me?
I have nothing to tell you. You see me every hour of every day. I have no spare time. I have no spare time where you're not constantly.
I know, that's why I think it's funny when the rat femmes are like,
oh, your husband's gonna cheat on you. When?
Yeah.
When?
When?
You know how fucking busy I am? I am constantly, the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep is booked, dude. I have no spare time. I mean, I guess I go to the gym.
But you go to the gym.
I go to the gym and then I come back and then there's no like, oh, you were at the gym for 4.5 hours. There's none of that. There's none of that. No, I go to the gym and I come straight back because I have shit to do. I'm trying to build this channel. I have kids to raise. I like to eat constantly.
A wife?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And she does karate.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It was pretty impressive, right?
I'm pretty impressed. I like how there's a lack of milk on your shirt tonight. Not zero milk, but like less. Definitely less milk than there was last night. There was a lot. It was soaked in milk.
8 months in, still.
It was soaked in milk. Like you could wring it out and you could make cheese. You should make cheese.
We should make cheese.
Make breast cheese. I'll eat it.
See, when you say it like that, it doesn't sound good.
Why would I say it any other way? Well, okay. What do you call it? What do you call it?
Oh.
Well,
Cheese.
it's just, you can't just say cheese, dude. It has to, like, ghost cheese comes from a goat. Should I call it just cheese? This is just cheese.
Well, I would like a claim on it, yeah. What?
I guess you get the claim. $100 and I'll send somebody
No.
a cube of just cheese.
No.
$100 and it won't be much, dude, because her milk is like claimed, dude. Like, the baby gets some, and then the toddler, and then me, and I think the dog gets a hit, and then after that, you're not getting it up to, no? Okay. After that, you might get a small cube of cheese that was made from my wife's breast. $100.
Ardenshire says tit curds.
Tit curds.
That's worse than breast.
Tit curds is brilliant. Tit curds is perfect. Tit curds and whey. Right?
Okay, now we need to open a restaurant.
Making tit curds and whey. It'd be a fancy wine bar, right? Where
you could breastfeed and be fun. Drink your wine and have your.
You
have your tits
breastfeed.
out.
I'm the one breastfeeding. Of all this tit curd. All this Munster. All this breast Munster.
That's what I'm going to start calling the baby.
A breast Munster?
Yeah.
Not like a monster.
No, just like a little delicious cheese ball.
Try some of my delicious sweater cheddar.
That's nice.
Some of my delicious
That's
sweater
nice.
cheddar.
See?
Delicious.
Breast
It's
cheese.
sharp. It's a very sharp and it's hard, right? Because there's not a lot of moisture. Anyways, back to this.
And European alchemists. It also became popular with occultists who often used the motto, as above, so below, which is the second verse of the tablet. But these were all just
Ardenshire says, does this said cheese have caramelized onions in it? Yeah, it could. It could.
translations.
Yeah.
The original tablet was
I
locked.
mean, you can request anything you want, except for Swiss might be difficult. Swiss cheese in general is pretty difficult to make. There's also Parmesan is kind of hard. I'm not a cheese maker. I wish I was. I really wish I was.
Well, we have to see what the breast milk does. You know, like what kind
It's
of...
milk, dude. What do you think it does?
But it has a different fat content than like
I know, so we're going to need more of it or less of it, depending.
more probably.
More. So, did you guys know that the mammary gland was actually
You're so dumb.
has actually evolved from a sweat gland? So, and so what you're drinking is a modified version of sweat. That's true. Interesting, huh?
Then, sometime in the 1st century AD, the philosopher Apollonius of Tyana was studying in the city's
Critical Thought says fun bag Fontina.
That's cute.
Uh-huh.
That's really cute.
library when he came across a mysterious book. It was bound in green leather, and its pages were made of a material that he had never seen before. The book was written in a
I'm
language
trying to think of more. I can't think of it anymore.
that he didn't recognize, and its pages were filled with
Boomerella
strange
is good.
symbols and diagrams. Apollonius studied the book and realized that it was a book of alchemy, filled with the secrets of the universe and the hidden forces of nature. Determined to uncover the mysteries of the book,
Mammary crumbles is that's I don't think I'd enjoy that.
Apollonius set out on a quest to find its author. After a long search, he came to a remote temple in the mountains where he met an oracle.
What?
Parmesan, like Parmesan, but mom.
Mama Jean is acceptable. Mama Jean is acceptable.
Sounds like a real thing.
Mama Jean. I thought you were gonna go the mammary route.
It's hard to fit it in with Parmesan.
It's
I was thinking of Parmesan, okay?
you're thinking of
I was
Parmesan.
just thinking of Parmesan.
Okay,
Okay.
so it's very Parmesan. Okay,
Yes.
why not mozzarella?
Oh, that's good.
It's better, isn't it?
Better. Oh yeah, it is.
It's better.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, that's the benefits of being a man.
Yeah.
You come up with much better ideas. That's true.
Oracle who told him where to look for answers. Apollonius was given directions to a secret
What?
cave underneath the statue of Hermes in Tyana. At the end of a dark, winding passage,
It's true.
Apollonius found the corpse of Hermes Trismegistus sitting on a golden throne. Still clutched in his withered skeletal fingers, Hermes had a dusty book and a tablet
Thought says I like Mama Jean. Of course you do. You're also a female.
carved from a single piece of translucent green stone. Apollonius took the emerald tablet and the book and
What is
sealed
this
the
green
cave.
stone?
He then incorporated
Is it emerald? Is it emerald or actually I don't think it is. It's green, but you're unable to like scratch it or cut it or anything like that. But somehow it does have writing in it. So alien stuff might be alien stuff.
these newfound secrets of alchemy into his own work. But then the emerald tablet was lost again.
Again, it's lost. How tiny was this thing?
Well, it was pretty big, almost 4 feet long and about 3 feet wide.
All that
Okay,
wisdom
hot
and they
dog.
can't keep track of a giant stone tablet, eh? Everyone who touches it suddenly comes down with a case of the Butterfingers.
It would seem so. Apollonius wrote that he gave the tablet to the Roman Emperor Hadrian, who buried it under his palace. But some think the tablet was in the Library of Alexandria when it burned, or was taken by the Knights Templar, or it's in the Vatican's secret archives.
Ooh, I'm gonna do a show on the Vatican archives. I know nobody knows anything about them, and that sucks because I want to know what is in there, and I bet there's so much crazy stuff in, and it's miles and miles of stuff, right? And it's been there for centuries. A lot of the stuff, old relics, inventions, old books that maybe should have been into the Bible, but they decided no, that doesn't belong in the Bible. Just like the weirdest stuff is down there. Maybe some pretty nefarious stuff too. Like some dark shit. I guarantee it, dude. I don't think the Catholic Church is all of that on the up and up, if you know what I mean. There's probably some very dark information deep in the crevices of this whatever underneath the Vatican. I've been to the Vatican. It's ornate and it's very big. It's very big and ornate. And the walls around the Vatican are like 40 feet high, dude. And they're thick stone walls. So for the Pope to be like, oh, there are borders, you don't need borders and stuff like that. Well, I mean, the Vatican is surrounded by like 40-foot stone walls. And you need a passport to get in there. And everybody there is armed. Heavily, heavily armed. So, you know, don't throw stones. I'm just saying.
It's been said to have ended up at just about every mysterious place on
Mayo
Earth.
says they probably got a Stargate in the Vatican. See, dude, that's what I'm saying, though. They probably have a Stargate. That's like one of the things I would be like, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I would believe like aliens or some like elves or probably just hundreds of missing children. Just hundreds and hundreds of missing children. Unfortunately, that's probably the most likely. But yeah, it could be aliens or elves or Elvis or whatever.
But in 1925, a man named Dr. Maurice Doreal had an idea. The early story
Thought that was very good. Ricotta, but ricotta. That's good. It doesn't really roll off the tongue like breast cheese usually would, but that's pretty good.
stories of the Egyptian god Thoth
So I'll give that
talk
to
of
you.
him building the Great Pyramid of Giza as a way to protect an ancient artifact. So Dr. Doreal went to Egypt and explored the area where he thought the Emerald Tablet might be.
Oh, did he find it?
Not exactly.
Oh.
He found all 10.
Couch Serving says, oh my God, I could make homemade jam and sell cheese/jam combo and call it Jugs and Jams. Well, yeah, the cheese would be from your boobs and the jam would be from like your toe jams. This sounds like an OnlyFans thing. And yeah, we would probably make a mint jam, perhaps. Do you know the difference between a jam and a jelly? You can't jelly your cock up a girl's ass. You're welcome. This isn't a kid's show.
The tablets
This
Doreal
is not a
found
kid's
were in
show.
the possession of a mysterious group called the Great White Brotherhood. They wouldn't
That's
allow
an
Doreal
old
to
joke.
take
I don't know
tablets,
who wrote
but
that,
they did
but
let
that's
him
an old
translate
joke.
them. A few years later, in 1939, Dr. Doreal published his translation as a book, The Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean. His translation confirmed that the tablets were indeed written by Thoth. Doreal went on to found the Brotherhood of the White Temple, a religion that still exists.
That's a very strange star. I wonder what that star is about. I wonder why that star is there. What is the deal with that star? Can somebody tell me more about that specific star?
And has a following. And one of the main themes of the book and of the Brotherhood of the White Temple is the concept of the one thing. The one thing is described as the source of all creation and the ultimate reality behind the physical world. It's said to be an energy that permeates all things and is the essence of all life.
The Force is what gives a Jedi his powers. It's an energy field created by all living
He's
things.
got Dobby in his bowl. Dobby is right there.
It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together.
We did a Star Wars bit last week. We can't go back to that well so soon.
Yeah, it was worth a shot.
Well, the book also describes ancient technologies and hidden knowledge. It suggests that ancient civilizations had advanced technologies and knowledge that have been lost over time. For example, the book describes a device called the Firestone, which is said to have the power to generate energy and manipulate matter. The book claims this technology was used by ancient civilizations, including the Atlanteans, but it's being suppressed. But a large part of the book covers alchemy.
Alchemy. I would like to look into alchemy. I bet there's a lot of fun recipes and stuff like that. That's just old chemistry, right? Alchemy is just old chemistry. And like chemistry is a real thing. They just called it something different. And it had to do with like, the way the sun was that day and the orbit of the planets and stuff. And everyone's like, oh, that's ridiculous. The constellations have no effect on us earthly people. Is that true? Because it might not be true. There's actually There's actually evidence that radio signals actually behave differently based on where the planets are in relation to each other. So this is like a real phenomenon that happens. Like radio signals get weaker if like certain planets are aligned and other planets are not aligned, which is weird, right? That's a weird thing because we're just made out of electricity stuff. So maybe it does affect us. Maybe it does have some sort of, effect on our personality or something like that. When the moon is full, there is more shit that goes on. Like there's more crime. Apparently there's more births and stuff, although I've heard that has been contested. But there's definitely more activity going on. Why? Why is that? Why? Because people can see better? Well, no, that doesn't really make sense. That's a little flimsy. Why do people go nanners when the moon is full? That's the reason why we say lunatic, right? Because when a full moon is out, people go crazy, and that's a lunatic. Why? Why do they do that? This is a real phenomenon. This really happens, even though people say, oh, it's not really statistically insignificant. It's not. It's not. Shit goes down when the moon is full. Everybody knows this, and everybody has known this for a long time. You feel different, don't you? More energetic, maybe a little crazier. You want to go get into trouble. You want to go do stuff. Why?
Specifically, transforming base metals into gold, curing illness, granting immortality, and achieving enlightenment. But like the original Emerald Tablet,
Arden Shire says this as above, so below talk on the documentary has heavy ties into Freemasonry. Not surprised. Well, yeah, but that term, I mean, that's pretty common in religions and stuff too, right? Like God said that at some point. Like certain religions have that tenet and stuff. By the way, have you seen that movie, As Above, So Below, where they go into the French crypts and stuff like that? That's a pretty good movie. Check that out. That's a good movie.
It was all allegory and symbolism, subject to many different...
Hogdog says, I pull my putt harder on a full moon. True story. Yeah, that's not... I mean, it might be true, but it's not uncommon. I mean, it doesn't matter what phase of the moon is, you're always waxing. That was a good joke, and if you didn't get it, I fucking hate you.
Interpretations. There are no clear
I don't even care if it
instructions.
was a good joke.
The tablet doesn't tell us what kind of materials we need to create the
See, waxing is a phase of the moon, and
Philosopher's Stone. And even if they did,
so,
they don't tell us the process.
Whatever.
But on March 11th, 2011,
Whatever.
a mysterious book suddenly appeared online.
Thought says, I heard the planets are aligned tonight. Well, we can look into that, can't we?
It was called The Book of Aquarius, and this is what was written on the first page. The age of secrets is over. There's no need for mystical language or metaphor. This book contains no hidden meaning or codes. Everything is stated plainly and directly.
So what the hell does this mean?
Well, this means that anyone who wanted to create the Philosopher's Stone now has a recipe to follow, just like a cookbook. The Book of Aquarius looked
very interesting. And like, what are the chances? So the planetary alignment where 7 planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, aligned in the evening sky occurred on February 28th, tonight, 2025. This rare event will not happen again until 2040. That is very interesting. Best time to observe, the ideal time to observe. So, interesting. Okay. So something like this is not going to happen again until 2040. Is something gonna happen? I'm sick of once in a lifetime things happening. This is very weird. When was the last time this happened? I don't even know. But that doesn't make me comfortable. That doesn't make me thrilled. That makes me... I don't know what's going to happen, man.
It's 165
Shit's always
pages
happening.
and references 49 different
Shit's
alchemical
always
texts
happening.
that span 1,000 years. It's a long, difficult process, but anyone with the time and patience could do it. And some people did. And what's most
Hot Dog says waxing that gibbous. Perfect. Yes.
amazing about the recipe for the Philosopher's Stone is that it's only one ingredient, and we all have it in us.
Oh, in us? What are you talking about? What's the one ingredient we need to live forever?
Well, the one ingredient is,
What?
urine.
Oh, come on!
How about we play a game? You guys send me a small vial of your urine, and then I will try to guess who sent it to me based on the color. Okay. It's right there. Take a screenshot and send me a small vial of your urine. And make sure it is clean. Make sure it is clean. And then I will, and you know, if I get it wrong, then tell me. And then I'll put a little label on it and I'll display it somewhere in my house. And I'll be like, this is Ardenshire's urine. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. If you don't, please don't send me piss. Please don't send me piss. Please don't. I'm going to get piss in the mail, aren't I? So be it.
Some of the greatest
So
minds
be
in
it.
history have tried to find the secret of the Philosopher's Stone. When the Book of Aquarius appeared on an online forum,
Last time this happened, April 8th last year. What? What? How come it happened April 8th last year, but it won't happen again for another 15 years? Yeah, it's not till 2040. That's very strange. That's very, very strange. Hey, Mort, how's it going over there in Australia?
in 2011, the anonymous author encouraged everyone to spread it online for free. He wrote, "The purpose of this book is to release one particular secret which has been kept hidden for the last 12,000 years." The Book of Aquarius contained easy to understand step-by-step instructions for how to create the Philosopher's Stone, which, if created properly, would grant you eternal life. The author of the book said that all the old alchemy texts using confusing metaphors and symbolism was actually done intentionally. This was an early disinformation campaign, a way to keep the recipe secret, but still make it accessible to alchemists who knew how to decipher the text. And with
Motorside said, "Not still a shithole. Not so hot today, though. Like it's like, is it hot in Australia? Well, yeah, that sucks. Your winter is our summer, and our summer is your winter. It shouldn't be. Australia shouldn't be. It should not be. It just confuses me and it angers me, and yeah, stop that. Stop that, Australia. Get in line. Just quit acting out."
when the Book of Aquarius was posted to an online forum, it was ridiculed at first. There was no way you could achieve immortality with pee, but throughout history, alchemists actually used urine all the time. The 16th century Swiss alchemist
Look at this dumb fuck. Imagine, this is the picture you take. You get one picture in your life. That's what you get. You get one picture in your life. Mona Lisa knocked it out of the park, and she was not even, that's not even a good picture, right? Now women take thousands of pictures every week. Just thousands and thousands of pictures. And they have good ones. They have their good ones that they like and stuff like that. This was this guy's one shot. He hired a guy, which probably cost a fortune. And he's all like, paint my portrait for the posterity of my family. And he's like, I got you. And then this is what he got. This is what he got. I'd be mad, but what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do. This is probably the first time he ever saw himself ever. He was like, oh my God, I need to lose weight. Is that what I look like? I look like shit. Sorry, Paracelsus. Paracelsus. That was bad. You should have gotten a better one. I'm sorry.
Paracelsus claimed that life essence was in blood, in hair, sweat, and human waste. The Book of Aquarius says
Poop.
that the Philosopher's Stone is this life energy, concentrated and purified. This is the same energy you take in when you breathe, when you eat and drink. It's the energy that powers all forms of life, so it makes sense that it would be found in urine. Ancient alchemists knew this as well. Remember earlier I mentioned the secret society?
Probably a lot of semen. Definitely semen, right?
Called the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. It had a lot of famous members. W.B.
Thoth says the Pope's going to die this week, so maybe that's what's going to happen. How would that change anything? How would that like make anything worse or better? I feel like the Pope doesn't really have all that much power. I know he like rules over like 1 billion Catholics, and you know, that's all fine and dandy. But like, what power does the Pope actually have? Has he ever declared war? I mean, this specific Pope, has he ever declared war? Maybe ones in the past have, when like they actually had some balls. But this Pope's like, oh, gay stuff. And yeah, everyone needs to live wherever. It seems like he's just not involved in doing actual Pope stuff. And he's more like Hannah Montana, you know. He's politically involved. And it's...
Yeats, Aleister Crowley, Arthur Conan Doyle, and a lot of other names that you'd recognize. Their name, Golden Dawn, is a reference to the only ingredient used.
Mort says, flying visit today, off to CMA before I go move stateside. Again, have a good stream. Well, I'll see you later. Where are you going in the States, man? Come to Florida. We'll meet up.
To make the Philosopher's Stone.
Good
Golden,
travels.
as in the color, and dawn because that's the best time of day to get it.
You have got to be me.
Nope. But now with the Book of Aquarius hitting the web, all the secret symbolism and oaths of secrecy were useless. The Book of Aquarius gave specific step-by-step instructions on how to store, boil, distill, ferment, and purify urine.
How many steps are... I mean, like, dude, his house must have stunk. Right? That's like what you're doing all day. Like you're trying to create a Philosopher's Stone. And then, so you're just boiling piss all day long and then eating it and drinking it and then pissing that out. And then boiling that. You think people thought you were weird? You're probably pretty weird.
It would take months or even years, but eventually a stone would start to form. It was all in the book. How to do it, what the results should look like,
man.
what the
You be good, too.
process smells like.
Nobody really tried
do
to
my
make
best.
this crazy thing, did they?
They sure did. Shortly after the Book of Aquarius was published, the anonymous author set up a website at thebookofaquarius.com. There you could, of course, download a free copy of the book, but also participate in a forum where people would try to follow the instructions of the book as closely as possible and create their own Philosopher's Stone. And although the stone only required one ingredient...
Dinkle.
Right. The process for extracting your life energy required patience. Even if you did everything correctly, it would take between 3 and 8 years.
It's still up. It is still up. Okay. It is still up. Read online? I don't want to do that. Amazon paperback. Okay. Okay. I don't need that. I don't need that, but it is still up.
Years to finish the work and make a stone. And that's assuming you kept your materials free from contamination, controlled the temperature, and used the correct equipment at the correct phase of production. A lot could go wrong, yet a small but determined group of people were giving it their best shot. The recipe for creating the stone had 2 major parts. First, you had to repeatedly distill the urine and continually remove the densest particles. Next, you do it all again, but this time remove the lightest particles, which would be a form of salt. This first part would ideally take 3 months, but could often take up to a year. In the second part of the recipe, you combine the salt with the distilled urine and put it on a low and continuous heat. You do that for over a year until it putrefies and turns black. In the next part of the recipe...
Wait.
What?
Can you not call it a recipe, please? That makes it sound like you're supposed to eat it.
Well,
What? What?
when you're done with the process, you do eat it.
Ugh, I'm gonna be sick.
What's your problem? You're swimming in half the recipe right now.
It's not the same thing. I got bubbles. I got filters. Besides, I only tinkle in the back of the bowl.
I don't think it matters.
It matters.
Okay, all right.
Anyway,
I don't. Anybody willing to try it? Like boil down their piss and eat it and like film it and then send it to me privately. Privately. Thought. Would you if I gave you $20, dude, would you boil your piss and eat it? $20. $20. Thought? Are you there? Thought?
you keep heating
Thought's
the
not there
black
anymore.
stuff, and eventually it turns white. And then you turn up the heat a little bit more, and the stone turns red. And then you're pretty much ready to go.
There it is. There's the Philosopher's Stone. Doesn't do
The book
anything.
even gives you some guidance on how much you should,
I can't.
On the Book of Aquarius forums, a community of amateur
She says I have a hard time believing they really did all that. I mean, I bet you people have done that. People have done all of that, and I'm sure they've like tried very hard, and maybe they're just alive. I mean, think about if you made the Philosopher's Stone, and then you were just alive, and you were alive forever at like a reasonably young age. Would you go around telling people that? Telling people that, like, you knew we're going to die? And you're just like, yeah, I have the secret to immortality, but I'm not going to, like, share that with you. Would you go around sharing that with people? Or would they kill you for, like, witchcraft or something? Even in the modern day, I think people would be like, no, you don't need to be around forever. And then they would kill you. I think if you came up with the secret of immortality, you would keep that to yourself, probably forever. Or at least until you died, but then it wouldn't matter. You just keep it to yourself and just like cruise around and stuff. You'd have to change lives every so often, right? Because you hang out with a group of people for like 10, 20 years, and they're like, why haven't you aged? And then you're like, what? I just take care of myself. I just take really, really good care of myself. And why have you aged so poorly? You've been hitting the bottle real hard? Is that what's going on? And just like nag them?
alchemists emerged.
No, I don't
Even
think
the
that
author of the
would work.
book was an active member and would answer anyone who had a question.
She always debunks
People were
at the end,
following
yeah.
the process, sharing tips and strategies. They would discuss how different foods affect
Thought says we have an instinct against our own waste. Yeah, but not other people's waste. So find some pee and drink it. Find some pee and drink it. I know you have access to pee. I know you have access like to all kinds of pee.
their essence. They even posted pictures of their results. This went on for a few years, long enough for at least one person to succeed.
Did somebody actually get this crazy thing to work?
Well, nobody knows, because suddenly and without warning, the Book of Aquarius website was gone.
No, it's still there. I just checked on it. It's right here.
We covered a lot today.
There it is.
The Egyptian god Thoth, Atlantis, the Emerald Tablet, Hermes Trismegistus, Apollonius of Tyana, the Book of Aquarius, and how they all connect to the Philosopher's Stone. But how much of the story is true? Well, a lot of it is. But let's look at the parts of the story that are questionable. First, the Emerald Tablet is indeed a text that's at least 1,200 years old. It is considered one of the most important documents in alchemy. Isaac Newton and many others were fascinated with it and spent large parts of their life trying to decode it. But the Emerald Tablets, plural, that's a different story. All the stuff about Atlantis comes from the book The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean by Dr. Maurice Doriel. And a lot of that information is part of Doriel's religion, the Brotherhood of the White Temple. The Brotherhood really does exist. It
Is what kind of religion is this? They had the Jew star on it. So is it Judaism? Are they a kind of Jew? What kind of religion is this?
even has a lodge in Colorado. And Doriel has a lot of followers.
That's not a promising look, bro. That makes you look weird.
You could find tons of articles and YouTube videos from people who believe that Doriel was chosen to deliver his message to the world.
It is a butt coming.
There is. Now look, maybe Doriel really did discover the tablets in Egypt and translate them. Maybe he really is helping people on their journey.
Thoth says if they figured out how to make gold, they probably wouldn't tell anyone that shit either. Well, yeah. I mean, if they figured out how to make gold, they probably wouldn't be able to make large quantities of gold, right? Because, like, you know, it would require a lot of pee, especially if you're keeping that to yourself, right? Because you don't want to crash the gold market. So you have to, like, make your own gold with your own pee, but it probably takes a lot of pee. And I wonder if, like, it has to specifically be human pee. I mean, it must, because this process is so finicky, it's so persnickety that, you know, if you just used any old pee, like bull pee or something like that, the levels would be off. You wouldn't know how to do it properly, so you'd have to use human pee, but your own pee, because you can't be asking a bunch of people if they can, you can have their pee. Imagine going around and being like, hey, you got any of that pee? Like, dude, why do you keep asking for my pee? Why do you always want more of my pee? Like, it's weird. Everyone's like, why does he keep asking for our pee? And you're like rich as balls too. Something's not adding up. All you do is go around asking people for pee, and then you're like you have like a Rolls Royce and stuff. And it stinks like piss, sure. But, you know, it is a Rolls Royce. Where are you getting? You're not selling pee. There's no market for pee. Right? There's no market. There's no Dow Jones Industrial Average for urine. And it's not like it's a sex thing where like you're getting OnlyFans girl pee, because you're just getting anybody's pee and then throwing it in a big jug and then throwing those jugs over your shoulder like some kung fu master hiking up a mountain. And what are you doing with all those pee? So you got to bounce around, right? You got to bounce around, because not only are you immortal, but you're also rich and asking everyone for pee. So how are you going to establish any sort of real life? How are you going to establish any sort of real life? You just go around asking people for pee, like soaked in gold, and like you look great. You look great too. So what do? What is that? What is that about?
To the light of truth, as the Brotherhood claims.
Hey, your tone is drifting into sarcasm.
Thoth says, I used to think Goldschlager had real gold in it. I thought it did have it doesn't? That's not real gold? What is that? What is that? I thought that was real gold. I was positive that was real gold until you just said that.
Territory.
But before you join this cult religion, there are a few things you should know about Dr. Maurice Doriel. Dr. Doriel's real name was Claude Doggins, and he wasn't a doctor of anything. He never graduated high school, which is amazing because he claimed that he was able to read and write as soon as he was born, and was doing advanced mathematics before the age of 1.
Yet no interest in getting a GED, huh?
Yeah, I guess not. So no record of him receiving a doctorate, but there is record of him driving a cab.
He drove a cab in Egypt?
Oh, he never went to Egypt.
Yeah, but...
His passport verifies this. When he was confronted about the passport problem, Doriel, aka Doggins, said, well, they weren't physical travels, they were astral travels. Doggins wrote a lot about astral travels and other paranormal phenomena. He wrote about UFOs, alien attacks, the nuclear war that he predicted would happen in 1956. And he wrote about human serpent hybrids living in the Gobi Desert.
Lizard people!
Yep.
Hey, did you know you could buy a lizard people
everyone
from the
thinks
Wi-Fi
about
store?
Lizard people are real, man. Lizard people are real people.
Use promo
Or
code.
real
No
lizards.
merch
I don't
plugs
know.
now.
Sorry. Force a habit.
Now, his followers will say all the things that Doriel wrote were true. The problem is, his stories were lifted from prominent science fiction writers. For example, Doriel's Emerald Tablets book has passages that match almost word for word passages from the Necronomicon by H.P. Lovecraft.
Another book I want to read.
Ooh, that was one of the campfire stories I would read at Camp Greenfoot.
Camp Greenfoot.
Oh yeah, I was a counselor there in the 80s. Kids loved me.
Dracos. Yeah, the lizard people, the Dracos or whatever, they live in the moon, right? They live in the moon. The moon is hollow. It's actually a spaceship. And they drove it here thousands of years ago. And now they just watch us, I guess. Maybe that's why we go crazy when it's a full moon, because reasons and effects that we don't understand.
It's kind of dark for kids, no?
I didn't think so at the time, but I'm not gonna lie. Some of those kids, they grew up pretty weird.
Thoth says you pretty easily make fake pee with salt water, a little urea, maybe a pinch of turmeric. Why would you do that? Why on earth would you do that? Why would you make fake pee? I mean, if you're passing a drug test, I guess, but why would you do that?
Weird.
Anyway, Doriel also lifted ideas from the Shaver Mysteries, which were popular in the...
Scott says they were the first inhabitants of Earth. So, yeah, do you know what the Cerulean hypothesis is? It's the idea that there was a race of super intelligent dinosaurs like 65 million years ago, and they had like cities and stuff like that. And they died off for one reason or another. And through plate tectonics, any evidence of them ever existing just subverted into the center of the earth, and so there's no evidence. But yeah, that's an interesting one too.
Sci-fi pulp magazine Amazing Stories. He even wrote into the magazine
To sell it?
And Doriel made
Thought you could sell your own pee. You make your own pee, don't you? You have your own pee. You can sell your own pee.
all kinds of other wild claims as...
Why would I sell fake pee? I make pee. I'm not hard up for pee where I have to like make it from scratch. I do make it from scratch, but not like unintentionally.
Most cult leaders do.
Or
but there are too
intentionally.
many to list here.
So he
you know
was
what I
a
mean.
fraud?
Well, I'm not saying that, but his wife did.
What?
At a public event, his wife called him out for lying and cheating in front of a whole group of disciples.
Hell hath no fury, eh?
Yeah, the quote-unquote cult leader divorce made newspaper headlines at the time. Now, even with all this information, Doriel still has plenty of believers, and the Brotherhood still sells all of his books on their website. So, the story of the original Emerald Tablet, that story is true.
Thoth says I'm not selling my own DNA. My pee is sacred. So, I mean, is there DNA in pee? I would believe it if there was. I just, and they have your DNA, Thought, right? It's like not, they probably have it from one thing or another. So, spread it around.
The actual tablet has never been found, but the text has...
You got a toe guy? This by the way, you have a toe guy, huh? That's cool. Pamunky says, feed me. And a little toilet emoji. You're weird, Pamunky.
It's been around for at least 1,200.
Thought pee in Pamunky's mouth. I'm a cult leader. I'm allowed to tell people to do that. Okay? So you got to go pee in her mouth, and then it's got to be like a thing. Don't make eye contact. No eye contact.
100 years. That's confirmed.
No eye contact.
The Emerald Tablets by Doriel, well, you can make your own decision.
Oh, my God.
But to me, it sounds like yet another cult leader passing off science fiction as his own
You're
writing.
good, Pamunky. It's not about you being good or not. It's not about you being good. This is a cult. You think when, like, Jim Jones was feeding people Kool-Aid and, some guy was like, oh, no, I'm cool enough. No, he was like, you drink this or I'm going to put a bullet in your head. I'm not going to put a bullet in your head, but you better drink the pee. Just drink the pee. Okay, just drink the pee. It's not even a weird thing. Just drink the pee.
To take advantage of people for profit.
Nice work if you can get it.
Sure is. Look at G. You censored me.
Of course I did. Their lawyers watch this show, you moron.
Fair enough. So what
Yeah.
about the Book of Aquarius? That one also sounds like science fiction, but turns out it's real. Ever since the Book of Aquarius website was taken down, there's not much information about what happened to the people who were trying to create their own stones. One theory is that some people were actually successful, so either they...
Thought says make it rain. Wait, who's peeing in whose mouth? Is Pamunky... Pamunky, do you want to pee in Thought's mouth? I'm sorry, I'll stop.
They had the site.
There's something weird. I think it might be the alignment of the planets or something like that. It's getting to me. Or maybe I'm just tired. I had a full day. Like most of the days. But sometimes a lot of the times I manage to take like a very small nap. I like take a very like a power nap, and it's like 30 minutes. And if I get that, I can keep going. But I didn't get to do that today, so it's yeah.
taken down, or
The Illuminati.
right, some group of shadowy elites didn't want this information public, so they took down the website. And even though you can still download the book from the Internet Archives, you can't view the messages on the message board. Those have been scrubbed
That's a
by
bummer.
somebody. Another theory is that the Book of Aquarius was a hoax. But if that's true, it's a hoax that took a lot of effort. The book is 165 pages, and the author goes into meticulous detail, and he quotes from 49 different alchemical texts, ranging from the 20th century all the way back to the 11th century. Many of
Cool.
these texts are pretty obscure and hard to find, and no one has ever come
Thought says no one's peeing in anyone's mouth. Pamunky and I are gonna sell fake pee on the internet. Okay. Why fake pee? Oh, because you don't want your DNA out there. Well, why don't you just like boil it? Why don't you pee into like some sort of cauldron and then boil it, and then you can cleanse it of your DNA, but still sell your pee? Because people are gonna know if it's fake pee. They're gonna taste it and they're gonna be like, "There's a lot of turmeric in this pee. There's a suspicious amount of turmeric in this pee." And this chick is an Indian. You send a photo with it.
forward to take credit for writing it. The Book of Aquarius is
Oh,
probably
God.
not a hoax, but a book written by a passionate individual who honestly believes they're sharing the secret to creating a Philosopher's Stone.
With Tinkle.
Yep. There's actually a well-documented case of an alchemist attempting to create the Philosopher's Stone from urine. In 1669, German alchemist
69.
Henning Brand dedicated years of
Nice.
his life to creating the stone. He was convinced urine was the way to do it, and he did everything that the Book of Aquarius says to do. Now, after boiling and distilling 1,500 gallons of his essence, he ended up with a white, waxy substance that actually glowed in the dark.
He made the stone.
No, he accidentally discovered phosphorus. Now, to a 17th century alchemist, this must have been
Yeah, well, yeah. At that point, you are doing alchemy. So I mean, like, what you're gonna? But it's cheaper.
amazing. Here was a
It's
substance
cheaper than making all this pee, right? You know how much turmeric is? It's expensive, I think.
that was the product of
But I'm
the
not
human
sure.
body that was glowing with a life force. Now, Braun kept the recipe secret while he tried to create gold, but when he couldn't get that to work, he sold
John, didn't you try to say that the cure for cancer is in pee? No. Did I? Oh, yeah. No, I did, but horse piss. Yeah, no, there's okay. So that was from a documentary called Brzezinski. And there's like anti-neoplastons in some horse piss that was synthesized and given to people with some sort of lack of something or other. For some reason, I just cannot think right now. I think I'm just exhausted. And yeah, that cured people with cancer. So that was a real thing. Thank you for remembering that. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, pee cures cancer. So if you're looking out for one of, just pee in their mouth.
the recipe to another
Grandma has cancer. Be like, here you go, Grandma. I'll pee in your mouth. And then she'll be like, I don't know. This is not how we did it, but, And then there you go.
alchemist. As for living forever, well, it's been reported that Henning Braun did die, but nobody knows exactly when. Now, of course, legend says that he faked his death, and like Nicholas Flamel, is still alive today. Now,
Maybe.
that makes sense to me.
Maybe.
If I created the Philosopher's Stone, I don't think I'd ever tell. Would you? Now, if you want to try creating
Nah.
it, the Book of Aquarius is still available online and linked below.
No, I would just live forever and I don't know. I guess I would pop up on stream every now and again for like centuries, or whatever they're doing then. And it's actually, can somebody see if I have any like oil paintings of me back in the 1500s with like a big feathery hat? And it's just, there's got to be one, right? There's got to be an old portrait of me back when I was like in Italy somewhere, like in Venice, and I was a merchant of some sort. Look for it. It's there. It's out there.
I don't recommend it. Boiling urine smells awful. But that's a small price to pay for immortality.
Whoa, wait.
Yeah, you bitches gonna be rich. You're selling your own pee or like a don't fake it. Just don't fake it. Just sell real pee. Just sell gallons and gallons of pee. You will make money. I promise you, you will make money. There's a lot of very strange people on this internet. This internet is evil. It's evil. And you will make a lot of money just by selling your own pee. I promise you.
How do you know it smells awful?
Don't worry about that. Now, if you do decide to try and create the Philosopher's Stone, do me a favor. Email me in about 600 years, and we'll both have a good laugh.
See, he's got his own pee. See, he's got pee. Should I do it? Should I drink my... Jess won't drink her own pee. She's not drunk.
No.
Why can't I drink my own pee? I'm going to have to.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
Anyways, I'm going to just go ahead and... I'm going to call it an early... I know there's 8 minutes left, but I don't care. For some reason, it must be the alignment of the planets or something like that, but it just hit me, and I'm, like, exhausted. For some reason. Maybe it's all this pee talk. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I hope you enjoyed this and learned something. If you want to buy pee, ask Thoth or Pamanki. They got you covered in pee. Yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you guys stay strong and make me proud and do all those things that a good cult member does, right? Remember, you have responsibilities. You have responsibilities to me specifically. So make sure you take care of those. Anyways, guys, I will see you on Monday. And until then, stay strong, stay brave, do the things you want to do, have a good time, drink a lot of water, get a good night's sleep, and take care of yourselves because I care about you too. I'll see you guys on Monday. Love you. Good night.
I'm an incredible soul, unhinged and enraged like a bulldog's fierce growl. I'm spitting fire, burning through these trees, questioning the world, unraveling conspiracies. Talking about Bigfoot, but I guess monster too. Government lies, they're feeding me their goo. I'm diving deep into this rabbit hole, uncovering the truth, setting fire to their control. I got small nipples, but my voice is loud, roaring like thunder in this crazy crowd. They say I'm crazy, but I call it woke, unraveling the madness with every word